Jen here with a layout for Stretch the Sketch as well as Off the Board. So Stretch the Sketch is a series where we take a sketch, everybody uses the same sketch, and we alter it so that we can create a layout that is different than the size of the sketch. So most of the sketches are 12 by 12, and then a lot of us will stretch that into a 2-page layout, or sometimes we shrink them down into Traveler's Notebook or just a different size layout. Occasionally we have a sketch that is not a 12 by 12, and then we might stretch it out to be a 12 by 12. It's just a really, really fun series. I always end up loving every layout that I do, and I get a ton of pictures scrapped because I always try to cram as many as possible into my 2 pages. So definitely fun to play along. All of the links are down below, so you can go and check that out. There's also a Facebook page, so you can check that out too and upload your creations if you want to share them. Go follow all of those links. The sketch that Janet picked for today, she got off of Pinterest, so it also works for Off the Board. That is a month-long series where every day of the month we're picking inspiration from our Pinterest boards and using that to create our projects, our layouts, our mini albums, whatever it is you want to do. So they don't necessarily have to be scrapbooking related pins. It can be pins from any of your boards, food or home decor or party ideas or whatever it might be, color palettes. Maybe it is scrapbooking related things, so maybe it's different techniques or mood boards, whatever it might be. Wherever you find inspiration in your Pinterest boards, that's what you can go with. And essentially it's just kind of designed to get you actually looking through those Pinterest boards and using the things that you're pinning or creating the things that you're pinning. So it's tons and tons of fun. And every July we do it all month long. It was inspired by Crystal from Pineapple Papers. And it's also the last Wednesday of every month too. So if you don't want to play along all month long, you can definitely come back and join us every month and do one Pinterest inspired layout. So again, links are down below. You can go and check out the master list and watch all of the videos and see everybody's pins. Everybody picks something different. So it's really fun to see where all of the inspiration comes from and how people might use different visual inspiration and interpret it in different ways. So love this series as well. We've been doing it for a long time, and yeah, go and check that all out. So I showed you the sketch at the beginning that we're all going to be using. It was created by Kelly Hollyfield for Sketch and Scrap. The link is on the page itself, on the picture itself, if you wanted to go and take a closer look at that. And I decided to go ahead and stretch this into 2 pages because there are 3 photos on the sketch. And so I figured if I stretch it, I can definitely get 6 pictures on there, maybe even more. I think I end up with 8 pictures. Let's see. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 on each page. Yeah. So I just went through some of my pictures and picked out something where I knew that there were a bunch of them that I all, wanted to get scrapped all together and that I haven't yet. These are from way back in 2019. Yeah, 2019. So that works out really good. I always try to do that when I'm doing Stretch the Sketch. And then that way I know that I'm going to get a bunch of pictures all scrapped onto 1 or 2 pages. And yeah, that's just really fun for me to do. I definitely am not a multi-photo scrapbooker, so it's nice to kind of break out of my box a little bit and do something different. And so I basically am going to recreate the sketch fairly closely. I'm going to do the banners going down, and then I'll do the same types of layering going horizontal across the page as well. But I just went into my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. The theme for this month is Splash. So there's just lots of bright colored papers, lots of splash of color, but then also the kind of more literal translation of the theme. I'm doing lots of water pictures, so beach photos and lake photos and swimming pool photos, that kind of thing. So lots of blues in there and summery vibes to it. And I just picked out random scraps. So all of these papers were scraps and leftovers. I don't think a single one that I pulled out was a full 12 by 12. And a lot of them are 6 by 6 pages that I just wanted to, have those little pops of color. And I thought that those would work really good as the layers that are going horizontal. So I pulled out a bunch of them and started making my banners. I have more than 3 banners, but I didn't cut all of my papers the same width. Some of them, it was just sort of based on how much space I had to be able to cut 2 strips out of. And so I figured, since they're not all going to be uniform and the same size to start off with, I might as well just go ahead and kind of embrace that. And they're all cut fairly randomly at different sizes. So I put 4 strips going down the page. It'll end up being a 5th strip because I wanted one that would sort of cross over the center of both pages to really connect the two sides together. So you'll see that coming up. I do have it cut. It's going to be that blue paper from Altenew, kind of blue watercolor rectangles. But yeah, so I didn't really pay that much attention to how wide anything was and if they were all the same length or anything like that. And you saw I actually cut them all because I knew I needed to stretch them down just a little bit. But I knew that I was going to have some layers there to kind of hide where I cut them. So I wasn't too worried about that. So I went ahead to begin with and just cut all of those vertical banners so that I could be sure I had the exact same colors on both sides and I had enough paper to do that. Oh, sorry, my camera's focusing in and out because it doesn't love me moving around that white paper. And so once I had both of those banners cut, then I could go ahead and do the horizontal layers. I cut everything first. That way I kind of knew that both sides would be symmetrical. Even if they aren't exact, I'm okay with that. But at least it's all the same papers and they'll all be in the same general spacing and orientation. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to match up where each of those banners is, just roughly, so that the pages look fairly symmetrical from side to side. But yeah, once all the pieces were cut and I knew I had enough for both sides, then I could go ahead and place everything down. So I sort of randomly worked on the right hand side and put it all together, and then knew that once that one was done, I could replicate it on the left hand side. So that's what I'm doing here. And then my final touch is to get this center one kind of going right down the 2 pages. So I'm adhering it down nicely on the right hand side with a little bit of the hangover so that I can cut that off and then put it onto the left hand side. And yeah, I just really kind of had a lot of fun layering up all of the papers. Once I had the general idea in my head of what the sketch looked like, then I just kind of took off on my own with how I was going to layer up my different pieces and how many patterns I was going to use and that kind of stuff. My pictures they kind of read as a little bit dark just because the water in the lake was kind of dark, and it was where the beach is. It was a bit backlit, so they are a little bit darker. So I thought bringing in lots of those vibrant colors and lots of different patterns would just really help to make those pictures read a little bit lighter and brighter. It was a super beautiful sunny day, so I definitely wanted to bring in a lot of that kind of sunny, happy, summery feelings. So that's where all these patterns kind of came from. And honestly, I just picked out things that I thought would match and had a few of the same colors that are in the blow up that the kids are playing with, which is sort of this like rainbow narwhal that we bought. And so I was just pulling out some of those more vibrant colors like the yellows and the orangey, reddy colors. and a little bit of blues and stuff like that. So all of the papers come from different collections. There's some from Paige Evans in there. There is some from Chamel in there. There is that yellow paper is actually from Close to My Heart. The blue paper, like I said, and the one with the smaller rectangles, that sort of rainbow paper that's right beside the yellow one, that is from Altenew. So really, they're just from all over the place. These are all just the scraps that I kind of threw into my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. And so I've been really enjoying pulling those all out and using them. This, I think, is the second or third layout where I've really just been working away at all of those random scraps. So once I had everything put in place on that left-hand side, I can go ahead and pop my pictures down. So the orientation of the pictures is different from side to side. I could have done it the same way because I do have 2 4x3s, and then on this side, I have 2 4x3s that are vertical or portrait and 2 4x3s that are landscape. I could have cut those apart and kind of, I could have oriented them the same way as I have on the left-hand side. Or I could have taken my 4 little 2x3 photos that I have here on this page and popped them into the middle and not cut them in half, and kind of replicated what I did on the right hand side. In either case, I thought it was kind of fun to have them just look slightly different. And it's something that I've really been enjoying doing when I'm doing my 2-page layouts. I have this thing where I really love that you can read the 2 pages together, and I always try to link the 2 pages together. But I also think it's really fun if each layout can kind of stand on its own a little bit as well. So there's something slightly unique from one page to the next, that just if someone was looking through the album really quickly and was kind of trying to appreciate each of the pages on their own, it still kind of stands up as a layout on its own. So that's why I will often do this. I'll just change the way that the pictures are on each of the pages, or do something just slightly different so that they're just a little bit unique one from the other. And then I feel like what I've actually done is created one whole layout with the 2 pages, but then also 2 individual layouts. So the one here, I thought that by having the larger sort of 4x6 sized pictures all the way to the right hand side, it gave me that opening for my title, which is also sort of where it is in the sketch. And then on the other side, I didn't really want to put a second title, but I will put a little bit of journaling. So I didn't need as much of a space. And so I figured I'd put that larger kind of 4x6 photo in the center. Sorry, Luna was just trying to make herself comfortable on a chair and she was wobbling all over. So you might hear a little bit of scratching there in the background. So once I had all of my pictures put down, hopefully I explained that well enough. I felt like I was maybe being a little bit rambly, but that's okay. Once I got all of my pictures down where I wanted, I just went into my stash of ephemera. It's just, again, a mishmash of summery, bright colored, fun ephemera pieces. And I decided to pull out a few things that I thought would work. They're all from different companies. There's some Simple Stories in there. There's some Pink Paisley in there. I think, oh gosh, what else is in there? Maybe some Freckled Fawn or Pebbles. There's just a big mishmash of stuff. I'm also using some chipboard thickers. Those actually came from Dollarama, so they don't really have a brand, but I just liked those summery colors, and so I went ahead and did that. And then I'm going to finish it all off with some sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps. The sequins are called In Depth, and they're all just these beautiful shades of blue, so I thought that worked out really good. So I'm going to do a few little clusters of those, and you can see that center ephemera cluster. I definitely did cut that right in half so that it kind of goes across both pieces, or both pages, and then I splattered some gold just to kind of give it a little pop of shimmer. And that is it. That is my layout for today. I love how this turned out. It's so fun. I always have so much fun when I'm playing along with Stretch the Sketch. Please go and check out all of the links down below so you can see how everybody else is stretching their sketch today. And the master playlist for Off the Board will be down in the description as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.
Button, my channel.